everyone, it's Heather, and thought I would do another video. It's been a little while. I've been on break and haven't really been focused on respiratory stuff very much. I've been enjoying my break. I've got 2 weeks left before classes start, just a little under 2 weeks. And I have not looked at a darn thing since class ended, except for to sign up for my next classes. So over the next 2 weeks, I am going to start going back over my normal values and some of the things that I am not very strong on. If you've watched other videos, I think I've mentioned that I really struggle with hemodynamics, so I am going to try to do some of that. I'm going to use some of my Quizlets. I did post what my Quizlet name is in a previous comments under a previous video, but I will try to remember to put that in the description for this one in case you want to look at my Quizlets. Obviously, mine are specific to my classes, so it's, broken up by class. I do have a couple that are just normal values, weaning parameters, things like that. But again, there may be different ones that are used for your program. I know that they try to do ours based on NBRC rules and Kettering things. So take it as you wish. I will try to make sure I put that name in the description for this video. So I am entering into my last semester of respiratory school. I can't believe that I'm actually almost done. Super excited to be done. My classes this coming semester, we're going to have clinicals, of course. Because of COVID and because of some issues with our clinical director finding clinical instructors, I have opted out of doing a clinical group for this next semester. So we were given the option to set up all of our own precepting hours rather than being in a clinical group. So I did email my clinical director that I am happy to set up all of my own hours. I actually have enough hours already to graduate. So any hours that I get this coming semester, which I still plan on doing because I still feel like I need the practice and I need the time in the hospital and everything. But any hours that I get are going to kind of be bonus. I don't have to worry about getting enough to graduate because I am lucky enough to have already gotten my minimum of what we are required to get is 800. So I've already met that. So I am still going to be doing precepting. I'm not going to be in a clinical group. I will just be following along with a preceptor, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into clinicals. I do kind of miss it. So that's one of the ways that I feel like I really know that this is a job that I want to do, because I would rather be at the hospital doing clinicals right now than be on break. As nice as it is to sometimes have a break, a month is a little bit long for me to be out of the hospital all the time. So let's see, we have clinicals. We have a class that we have been told is primarily about getting a job. So it deals with creating your resume, a cover letter, working on interview skills, what things you need to be aware of when looking for a job. I feel like that's all really, really good information to have, especially for someone like myself, resume-wise, because I was out of the workforce for decades. I don't have a whole lot of work experience. I have some here and there, but because I spent most of the last 2 decades homeschooling my kids and running a farm, so running a self-employed business, I don't have the typical things to put on a resume that most people do. So I feel like I could use some help making my resume look as good as possible. And then we have another class that's going to be critical care monitoring. So basically just going further into depth on mechanical ventilation and making sure that we understand interpreting ABGs and doing changes to care based on ABGs and what the patient looks like. And so just a little bit more in-depth, advanced critical care stuff. So those are classes for next semester. I think we may have lost some students in my cohort from last semester to this because I know that we do not have as many people signed up for classes right now. Like the classes don't have as many students in them as they did. Certainly that could just be people late in registering. Maybe there's issues with financial aid or something like that. But I would not be surprised if my either people have just found that it's just not working with their schedule, or maybe they've decided this isn't what they want to do. It's also possible that we lost some people who couldn't pass the neonatal pediatric class, which ended up being much more difficult than I think any of us anticipated. So it'll be interesting to see if we still have everyone when class starts back up. But it's possible I have lost some people in my cohort from last semester to this one. Some big news on my front is that I have accepted a position at my preferred hospital. So right now we're talking about a tech position. I will start at the end of January, and it's really just kind of a placeholder thing. It's not a lot of hours or money or anything. It really is just a placeholder job. I will be making sure that supply rooms are stocked. I will be doing equipment cleaning and checking equipment, making sure that it's operating properly. I will be taking equipment to people as they request it, making sure to check all the dirty rooms and bring everything back, and basically just like a department assistant kind of a thing. But I'm super excited about it because it will enable me to learn more about the equipment. It'll enable me to learn more about the hospital. I will learn my way around the hospital better, get a better feel for where everything is, because while you're at clinicals and precepting, you do learn some of that stuff. This is just going to enable me to do it a little bit more and a little bit more in depth and more independently, which always forces me to focus more on where am I going in the hospital when I'm not just following someone else and I have to find my own way around. So the other thing is that the understanding with this position is that when I graduate and pass my board exams, that is where I will be working. So that's an understanding both on my end and on the department director, that by taking this position now, that is an agreement between us that this is where my permanent position will be. So I'm super excited about that because that is where I want to work. That's where I've been wanting since pretty much I started going to clinicals and started seeing a couple different places. This was my one of my two preferred hospitals. And actually the other one that I like is a sister hospital to this one. They share a department. So I will be going over to the other hospital sometimes to do some things, to take shifts over there, and I actually really hope that I will be able to pick up some overtime shifts or just, get put over to the other hospital every so often just for something a little bit different. It's a different level of trauma center. They see different things. So I'm really, really excited to have the opportunity to work at my base hospital, as well as the sister hospital that I will be going to every so often. And I do still have the eventual goal of being a NICU PICU therapist. I'm going to start to study for my neonatal pediatric specialty as soon as I am done taking my regular boards. I want to get that specialty in as quickly as I can, and I hope to get in some good precepting time at the local university hospital this coming semester, and I hope to be able to do some of that at the children's hospital. That's not something that we were allowed to do until we finished our neonatal pediatric class. So this coming semester, I should be able to get in some good time over there and hopefully just expand on my small base of knowledge that I have now with neonatal pediatrics. So I will be super excited to start that job, and I will say that it absolutely makes a difference to if you find a hospital you do want to work at, try to spend time there, try to get to know people there. And one of the things that I did was approach the director last semester several months ago and ask the director there, when do you start looking at hiring new graduates, and I am interested in working here, and just let the director there know about my interest in working at the hospital, and kind of get your name in there and get your face in there, and that is going to help you eventually to get a job. And of course, to do your very best at clinicals, because your clinicals really are a job interview. If you have spent your entire time at clinicals not being enthusiastic, not really wanting to get your hands in there, always wanting to leave early, things like that, that really does reflect on you, and that information will make it back to the people who do the hiring. So absolutely important to put your best foot forward when you're at clinicals and precepting, and to understand that the respiratory world is small. So even if you're doing clinicals right now at a hospital you maybe don't want to work at as much, or you aren't enjoying as much, it's still important to do your best and to show that interest in everything, because people know each other. So just because you might not want to work at this hospital, that doesn't mean that if you do a poor job over here, if you make a bad impression over here, that information could very well trickle through, because people have PRN jobs other places. They have friends, that they used to work with at this hospital and they still talk to, and, that information absolutely gets around. So always, always try to, make sure that you're making a good impression and that you're doing your best. So anyway, so yay, new job. Super, super thrilled to pretty much have, to really kind of have a very, very good idea. Obviously, nothing is carved in stone. There's could always be things that happen, but at this point, I'm very certain that that is where I will end up permanently after graduation, and that's absolutely awesome. The very last thing I was going to go through on this video is I was going to show some of my charts. Someone had asked in the comments to see some of the stuff that I've made for myself. So like this is one of my formula sheets. I don't know if it's going to be readable at all, if it's going to be backwards, but basically I have what the formula is, like the name of it here, and then the formula itself, and then I have a column for the normal values for the formula. I have 4 pages of that, and then another one that's specifically about settings on the ventilators, and then several more pages that are basic normal values. I've got cuff pressures and cardiac index and cardiac output and pulse pressure and all of those things that we go to. So I've got maybe 5 pages of general normal values as well. And in addition to the charts on the normal values, I do have the Quizlet that I made that has all my general normal values. I do not have a Quizlet made on the formulas. I'll be honest, there's a lot of those formulas that we just don't use. So, it's kind of, literally not all of this information can fit in my brain. There's just no way. So I kind of pick and choose what things I feel are the most important to study and the most important to have, solidly in here at all times, knowing that I can look up anything that I don't remember right away. So that's pretty much it. I hope everyone has had a good holiday season. I had a really good Hanukkah. I hope everyone had a good Christmas. I am looking forward to New Year's, and looking forward to starting the new semester in just under 2 weeks, and then my new job in just under 4 weeks. So hope everyone's doing well, and drop me a comment if you have any questions. Bye.